Well, come on, Columbus, Ohio. Welcome to the City League Sports Show. I leaned in a little bit just now. Today, we're starting a new season. You don't know this yet, but I've renamed it on my own here. This is now the Legacy Lounge. So this is the Columbus City League Sports Show, but this is the Legacy Lounge. I'm your host, Dr. Vince Clarino, and folks, if you're driving when you hear this one, I'm going to recommend you pull over for a moment, park your car, and listen. I got one of the greats in the house. We got former Brookhaven, Anthony Gwinn, with us in here. Say what's up and say hello to everybody, man.
The Legacy Lounge. How's everybody going, man? It's a privilege and an honor to be here. I followed the show on Facebook, seen a couple episodes, fell in love with it. Was really looking forward to hopefully getting an invite down the road. Checked my inbox, had the invite, man, and I almost fainted, man, where I said I got an opportunity to come on the show, man. So it's a privilege and honor to be here.
I love it. Let me share this. We try to find all walks of our alumni. Your body of work speaks for itself, which we're going to talk a lot about here today. We're going to get in and have some fun. You're a Columbus guy, right? Brookhaven. We've had so much Brookhaven on this show. I think for those that are new listeners, though, let me just share with you. Brookhaven had a run probably from the mid to late 80s. And there's stuff before, but from the mid to late 80s to all the way, man, obviously in the early to mid 2000s, 2010s, Brookhaven ran for 20 years and dominated Central Ohio sports. You're a part of that, but I want to let's start at the beginning for you. What side of the city did you grow up on? Where was you doing youth football out? You know what I mean? Give us the whole gamut, man. Give us the behind the picture Gwinn stuff, man.
Yeah, well, first off, it's the University of Brookhaven.
Love it. Come on, man. Y'all got some love out there, but I tell you, yes, indeed. Okay.
But I grew up on the north side of Columbus, the Linden area.
Yeah. Okay.
And for me, it started, playing Little League, Night Raiders.
Okay.
Brittany Hills.
Yeah.
Played a year at Linden Park Bulldogs before I went to high school.
Yeah.
Coach Rankin. I was blessed. Coming up.
Reggie Rankin, he gets love on here.
Byron Rankin. That was the Bowling Green.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
And I was really just fortunate coming up, in all aspects of sports, having real great teachers, real great coaches that was passionate about the game, that, taught the game the right way,
Certainly.
Morals, values, the way sportsmanship, the way to play it.
Okay.
And I was just lucky. It all prepared me for everything, down the road.
Certainly.
So, it really started with those little leagues. Believe it or not, ironically, I had 1 year with the Wolverines at Brittenell, and that was the only losing football season I ever had.
Ain't that about something? Come on.
How ironic is that?
For those who don't know, you're a Buckeye, right? So that's an interesting piece of your own lace. I'm sure you get to have a lot of fun with that piece, right? So you grew up, man. You learned the game. Was your passion always football?
It was my passion was always football and love for football. Yeah. But like we discussed earlier, I had this real deep love for basketball.
Okay.
And my dad was a good, real good basketball player in high school. And we had a basketball court in our yard. Everybody would conjugate, into our yard.
Your house was the spot.
It was more than the spot.
Okay.
It was like the lounge.
Place to go. Yeah. The place to go. Everybody came and hung out.
I'm talking about competitive battles.
Nice.
Competitive battles. And I just always took a love for basketball. And Coach Bruce Howard was my middle school coach.
Oh, wow.
And then he ended up getting the job at Brookhaven our senior year.
Okay.
So it was like, extreme excitement, for we knew what Coach Howard was going to bring to the table, and he knew me.
Did you play that year?
Yeah, I played.
Okay. Your senior year, you played for Coach Howard?
Yeah, I ended up getting best all around that year.
Oh, wow.
For Coach Howard. Surprised me at the banquet when he said it, too, because he really don't give out MVPs or anything like that. He considered best all around the player that can do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things I didn't understand, with Coach Howard that I ended up understanding in life, because he was just such a great person, great coach, and he knew us. Yeah. He's come pick us up, in his Jeep in elementary.
Wow.
And bring us to Crestview, to play with the older guys and stuff like that.
Right.
So when he got the job, it was just pure excitement. We kind of wish we could have had him for 4 years. But my first college offer was basketball, West Virginia Wesleyan.
Okay.
And it was a time where I didn't really know, which way I was going to go.
Oh, wow.
But then,
really? Okay.
But then reality started to set in. We all know on the next level, basketball is tall guys playing basketball.
100%.
So I ended up being the number one defensive back coming out of high school my senior year, so it was a no-brainer.
Right.
That my opportunity was, playing football.
So you leaped over a whole lot of stuff, though, just now. I know we talked your senior year basketball, and you went straight to your senior year, but let's slow it down a little bit, right? So Brookhaven guy, freshman year, all the way through graduation. You playing football, you're doing the thing. You guys go during that run. I think you guys go like maybe 32-6 or something like that. Didn't lose any games in the city league. When you look back on it, what does it mean to you now when you look at fond memories? When you think about your time at Brookhaven in the early '90s, you came out in '93. Just share with us your experience, man. Just whatever pops into your mind. Just like big picture stuff as we start off, and then we'll narrow it down some.
Yeah, it's to be honest with you, the way I look at it now is like you really, when you step out of your career and you look back on it, it's kind of like you start to form that awe a little bit more than when you was playing.
Okay.
Because during the time you playing, you're being competitive. At Brookhaven, there was a target on your chest.
Right.
Everybody's out to beat you.
Right.
And then, when you step out of that bubble and you look back on it, it's kind of like, wow, we had some loaded teams.
Yeah.
When I remember coming to Brookhaven games when I was in middle school, and Anthony Thornton was a quarterback.
Okay.
And he was like my idol.
Yeah, AT, man. And we've had AT on the show, man. We got a lot of love for AT, man. He's currently one of our coaches,
a lot of love and respect for AT, man.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's unarguable. I feel like he's undoubtedly the best quarterback to ever come to the city league, in my opinion.
Wow.
And I played quarterback.
Yeah, that's high praise.
I played 2 years quarterback at Brookhaven, and I see a lot of the comparisons and stuff like that. But just his competitive nature, the way he approached the game, his intensity, his athleticism, being a lefty and stuff like that. I used to come and watch the game to just kind of be like, man, I would love to be that guy at Brookhaven.
Wow.
Because like you said, that's when it was really starting to really plant that seed.
100%.
For Brookhaven. And then we kind of like took it up to, the next level.
Yeah.
And then Brookhaven went on to be the only Columbus public school to end up winning the
state championship
in football. So
2004. This is the 20-year anniversary, and we got it on our radar.
I did not know that.
So you Brookhaven folks out there, don't make us hard to find you here in the next month. We're gonna be looking for you. But go ahead, yes indeed.
And I mean, all the guys that played before those guys feel like they did their part into molding that program to get to that level like that.
The foundation.
Exactly, because when I was there, we went to the state semifinals back to back.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I've never been a guy to brag about, any of my accomplishments or anything like that. Yeah. I feel like I know where I stand in terms of, the whole scheme of things.
Right.
But one of my biggest things that I'm proud about, as being at Brookhaven as a quarterback was being the only guy from the Columbus City League to lead his team to back-to-back state semifinals. And that's something that I hold dear to me because one thing I've always done in athletics is I chase championships.
Okay.
And I wasn't the guy to chase numbers and, stat stuff or stuff like that. I mean, I know looking back on it, it's probably like more that I could have done if I was that type of player like that. But like I said, I was fortunate enough to have guys around me that shared the same passion for the game. Yeah. And we chase championships.
That's a rare personality trait. I share with you along those same lines, man. When I was in college, one of my buddies, man, his senior year, he was 12 points away of the final game of the season from scoring 1,000. He had 988.
Right.
And I remember me and him were talking, we were roommates, and I was like, man, hey, like this go, you know what I mean? Like, go ahead and get that 12 no matter what, man. And I think he came up a few points short. But all the times, and even since when we spoke about it, his energy was always like, man, we just trying to win. And if winning meant I scored 12, I scored 12. If winning win, I scored 6, I scored 6, right? I don't know that there's a lot of people that have that mentality. But you share some pieces here about you spoke to an AT. You threw in there the 2004 state championship. You threw in your own piece of you all going to it. But you're kind of in the middle of what was a lot of guys. So let's talk some Brookhaven. We talked AT for a moment, but playing older than you were some guys like Marlon, your older brother. Those guys were kicking butt. And then behind you, right, comes like a June and Terry and those guys. So you kind of saw both sides of it. And then your own run was amazing. So when you look back on it, right, and you're seeing that piece, did at the time, did you know, before me and after me, these is all these bad dudes? Did you know that back then?
It didn't surprise me.
Okay.
It didn't surprise me. You don't necessarily think about how, people's journey will turn out.
Yeah.
But you knew that you was around some special guys.
Okay.
I was in the same class as Henley.
Oh, okay.
That's one of my best friends.
June is 93.
Yep, June was 93
I thought June was
too.
94.
Yep,
My apologies.
June
okay.
is 93 too.
Okay.
Terry and Jason was 92.
Okay.
They was a year, ahead of us.
Yeah.
And I was Terry's quarterback at Brookhaven. So,
Okay.
I fully knew what he was capable. Me and Terry, best friends.
Right.
Was best friends in, high school and, especially in college, took
Right.
it to another level. But, I knew they was special,
Right.
Especially my brother. I mean,
Right.
I always say this about high school football. I was so glad he was on our team.
Wow.
Because
yeah.
of the destruction that he would bring
Yeah.
to a game, being a 6'3", 225-pound athlete,
Right.
and be able to run and cover as much space and be as vicious
Yeah.
as he was. And the crazy thing about it, he really wasn't that type of person.
Okay.
It was when he strapped up.
Yeah.
It was when he strapped
So
up.
off the field, he was a gentle giant.
I'm kind of like, man, who is this? Like, it's my brother. Where he always had the big brother,
No doubt,
keep you in place like that.
Yeah.
But I would see some of the ways he would take over games
Okay.
over the course of a high school. He was an All-American,
Yep.
first team All-American in
Yep.
high school. So, that says a lot about what he brought to the table. But. I knew that those guys were special, around me.
Yeah.
Like I said, when you look back on it, you just kind of be like, damn, I was on that team.
Right.
We had this person, that person, this person.
Yeah.
But the special part about it was that, we all came together and we all had a common goal, and that was winning the championship. And I'm not talking about the city championship.
Right, yeah.
Where,
certainly.
nothing against the city championship.
No doubt, but in it's kind of like in professional sports.
Mm-hmm.
You want to win your division, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you in the football, you want to win your division, right? You even want to win the AFC or NFC championship.
Mm-hmm.
But what you really want to win is you want to win that Super Bowl.
Right.
Right? If you in baseball, you want to win a pennant, you want to win your division, but what you really want to win is the World Series. So
Exactly.
I certainly respect that kind
And that says a lot about a program standards.
Yeah.
To me, that's what separates programs from, other programs is, the standards they set for themselves.
Right.
And the standard at Brookhaven, that was the standard.
Yeah.
And, it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was easy to maintain because we put a lot of work in.
Right.
But that was the standard at Brookhaven, and it continued to be the standard until some of the younger guys came in.
Yeah.
And they put it all together.
Right.
Won the championship.
I'm a 90s guy. We talked about that a little bit pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, right? So I'm a little bit younger than you, but I remember just being across town at one of our schools. I was at Columbus Walnut Ridge, and it seemed like every time I heard, it's like another Brookhaven guy doing something, And I remember just as a kid, to be very honest with you, man, I don't say this to sound middle schoolish and fan club, but I was like, wow, them dudes up there is getting it.
Right.
I had, as for those of us that know, who are kind of, Central Ohio guys, so young guy went to NYSP.
I did too.
Yes, I know you did. That's what I'm saying, right? So we had a special opportunity, man, at NYSP, which was a summer camp.
Right.
And I remember, I was coming in a little bit behind you. So when I was there, Terry and June was kind of running around a little bit as well, man. So I saw those guys and saw you as well, man. And I remember being there and thinking to myself, oh, okay. And we had a lot of fun up at Ohio State, man. NYSP, Ohio State, I think, did a great job for the community.
Great job.
A lot of us young people had an opportunity to go through there and cut our teeth a little bit.
Right.
Back then, we used to start off, as you remember, we used to start off in the horseshoe in your morning piece there. And then you went over to Larkins Hall.
Right.
It was like, you got a chance to see it.
You jumped right into it.
Man. You got off the bus, man. You walked into the horseshoe and you had this great experience. So let's get into the nitty gritty a little bit about Brookhaven. Game-wise, memories, what pops out at you? Stats-wise, anything. What pops out at you when you look back? Is it a game where you went off? Is it a play? Is it something? What's the memory that jumps to your mind when I say, man, this is the memory for you? What is it?
Well, I would say DeSales, but like I said, we was 0-4 against DeSales.
Yeah.
One game went into overtime. The other 3 games came down to the last possession.
Okay.
We had them 14-3 at halftime my senior year.
Wow. Okay.
We broke out with the new jerseys. Coach Mill did right before we came back out to take
Coach
the
Greg
field.
Miller.
Yeah, we had the navy blue jerseys. And we had a surprise party for June after the game. It was his birthday.
Okay.
And we jumped out on him 14-3 my senior year.
Yeah.
And I could kind of tell in the locker room, kind of like, I wouldn't say it was celebrating, but it was kind of like, hey, they're going to come out the second half.
Ready to go.
They're going to be ready. You know what I'm saying? We got to match that first half intensity with them.
Right.
And sure enough, we come out, man, they block a punt. First possession. Score. It's 14-10.
Yeah.
So we go back and forth. 50-something seconds left. They end up taking an option. It was a mistake on one of our defensive personnel. And they end up scoring on the option with like 54 seconds left. I remember the guy from Channel 10, Moose, had the camera right on me. I'm on the ground, and I'm like, I knew what happened. And I'm like, they rushed the field.
Yeah. But,
me being me, though, I'm like, we still got 54 seconds.
Let's get it.
You know what I'm saying? This is we can make something happen.
Right.
And, unfortunately, we didn't. So I would say that, but aside from that, had it been, we been on the other side of those games.
Was that your only loss that year?
Those were my only loss at Brookhaven, period, until we got to the state playoffs.
Oh, wow.
That was the only game we ever lost regular season.
Wow.
So it was like we go
every
0-1,
year, 9-1,
and then go 9, run off 9, and then go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
That was the 4 years I was at Brookhaven.
Okay.
And then obviously, eventually, we lose in the playoffs.
Right.
But
state semis or whatever.
State semis.
Yeah.
Yeah. But had it not been for the outcome of that game, I probably would say that. But the battles that we had with Beechcroft was just, it was epic.
Legendary stuff.
Because a lot of those guys, I played Little League, with, because
all same neighborhood, basically, kind of guys.
Right,
sometimes the street divided. You live on that side of the street, you go to Beechcroft. You live over here, you go to Brookhaven.
Majority of those guys, I played Little League with.
Okay.
Like I said, Night Raiders was on Mock Road by Brittany Hills.
That's right.
A lot of people from Brittany Hills went to Beechcroft.
Yeah.
So it was like, and we had a mutual respect, for them. I watched the game not too long ago on YouTube, and I happened to fall asleep on the remote and woke up, and the game was on. Yeah. And I was like, started watching it. Okay. And they had us down. They had us down big. I think it was 14-0, and they was about to go up 21-0 at Beechcroft, and Beechcroft committed a turnover. Okay. And then you talk about plays. This is probably, it's funny you asked this, because this is probably the most memorable play, one out of 2 of the most memorable plays of my high school career. Okay. Was when right when we got that turnover.
You got me hanging on nails. I'm trying to hear what it's going to be, man.
You got to watch it.
Yeah, you got me hanging on nails right now.
They was about to go up 21-0, and I was looking back like, they had us like this? Right. Like, I don't remember they had us like this. Right. But they committed a turnover right before halftime. And I think it was around the 40, 50-yard line. We drove down got into the red zone, and we executed a perfect play-action pass to Terry. Okay. Before halftime to make it 14-7. Yeah. And it was at that point that I knew that we was, and this is at Beechcroft too, and it was at that point that I knew that we gonna take this game. We're gonna take this game, and sure enough, we came out second half, and we just started, taking it to them. I ended up having a touchdown pass to my brother. That's something that my mom looks back on. Certainly, I just sent her one of the highlights from it not too long ago. Okay, and we had a lot of connections, me and my brother, but that one in Beechcroft was crucial. Yeah, and we just came out, man. It was like, if we don't get that touchdown before halftime, I think the outcome could have probably been. That might be the one. That might be the one loss you're talking about here today. Yeah, that might, because Beechcroft, their approach to us was like, they really feel, they can beat us. Oh yeah, and they had the talent, and they had the players to beat us. It just so happened that, over those years we came out on the other side of those games. But those were battles. Battles, and we had a respect for them. And, Coach Dunlap, they had a respect for us. Right. And it was like, never anything, in between that. You know what I'm saying? It was all sportsmanship and stuff like that. But I had a type of respect for them that was a little bit different.
I've heard people mention in the 90s, and me being from here, so I got a chance to see some of these things or hear about them. They said, in the South Division, the one thing that kind of came close or compared to the Brookhaven Beechcroft football games was the little window of run that was between Independence and West High School.
Right.
So when West High School had Kevin King and Mike Red and those guys, and they were playing against Kenny Gregory and Esteban, and those guys, they had these little runs where those games were just amazing.
I went to one of those games.
Oh yeah. So you remember
that's
that?
That's how I ended up knowing Ike.
Ike Jefferson.
Ike on the show, Ike Jefferson.
Yeah, Ike's a great guy. Ike's a little bit younger than Mike Red and them guys. Ike's an early 2000 guy.
Yep, and I remember Kenny Gregory too when they played in the city championship.
I think they might have played y'all. They might have played Brookhaven. I mean, you weren't there, but I'm saying they played Brookhaven. When I say y'all, I mean Brookhaven, you right?
So exactly. University of Brookhaven.
Give y'all love,
right.
Man.
But you know what though? I've said this before. The venue of the City League basketball championship, is second to none in Columbus.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to a City League basketball game in Columbus. I mean, it's that venue. If you don't get your ticket,
indeed.
if you don't hurry up and get your tickets, you ain't even going.
That's right. Well, let me show you something else that most people don't know. The City League basketball championship is the longest running sporting event in Ohio.
Wow, I didn't know that.
We've been playing this game for over 100 years.
Wow.
It's the longest running event.
That makes sense.
Out of everything.
It makes sense.
You know, people don't really understand, and we'll get into OSU here, but I'll give you this little tidbit. Early 1900s, when all of the landscape of sports was being developed, Columbus East High School.
Yep, I figured it'd be
used to play basketball. I mean, used to play football against Ohio State.
Wow.
Ohio State and Columbus East used to scrimmage each other in football at the beginning of the season in the early 1900s. Yeah, go look it up, people out there. They used to scrimmage. They used to play. That's what I'm saying. So there's a lot of history, but the City League basketball game's been going on forever, man. We've been playing that game. I'm blessed to be a part of it and being able to lead it. But you're right, it's an amazing feat. But you all were in so many big games, right?
Right.
So now we get into kind of like let's talk about this pipeline, which I would say kind of just seemed like, you know, if you were almost at Brookhaven, you know, it was almost like you just went to Ohio State, like you just drove down the road after you got done. You just went to Ohio State. It was almost Terry was there, your brother was there, Marlon was there, you were there. You guys went and played at Ohio State. When you get into Ohio State, what is it you remember? Transition-wise, here you are, you're coming in. You got some people older that are kind of looking out for you, right? But what is it you remember as a young guy?
The brotherhood, first of all. Okay. I mean, because the way it's set up, you know, recruiting-wise, and me having a brother that was already there while I was in high school, it brought me closer to the program. Okay. You know, and having Marlon there already, it kind of brought me closer to the program. Once they started recruiting me, then I would see things, you know, coming to practices and whatnot, get me closer. But once I was a part of that, you know, I started to see how special that really was. Because, believe it or not, when I was coming up as a kid, like I said, I liked football so much. I loved playing the game. I never really thought about where I'd be playing at.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I remember when AT went to OU, and I was like, you know, I go to OU and be, quarterback and be like, I never really thought about, to be honest with you, I didn't even know Ohio State was as big as it was as a kid, because I would watch it on TV. Right. And then when the game go off, I can't wait to go outside to go play. Right. You know, I never really thought about, you know, that the after, you know, the reality of Ohio State or anything like that. When I first walked in there on my recruiting visit, and I looked around, and the first game that I went to, I was like, this been in our backyard all this time? Like, this is Ohio State? Like, where, and it kind of hit you. Yeah. You know, but being a hometown guy playing for Ohio State, and I tell a lot of my teammates this, you know, that I played with at Ohio State, it's different when you're from Columbus. Because, you know, when I got there, you know, the thing that made Brookhaven so special was that, you know, not a whole lot of guys from Columbus City League was going to Ohio State. That's right. You know, you can name, you know, the Roger Harpers, you know, obviously Archie, Lorenzo Styles, even though he played back and forth in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. You had a couple other guys in between there, but it wasn't a whole lot of guys. You know, now and then to go there and start. You know, it was kind of like, it wasn't 4 or 5 guys from one school, especially wasn't that? No. That's I mean, that's something that's unheard of. That's unheard of. Even today. Yeah, Ohio State ain't all. They're all across the country finding kids. They ain't pulling 4 or 5 guys out of one school. Not in a 3 or 4 year stretch. Nah, and that's one of the things you look back on and you just kind of be like, wow. Right. You know, because I thought that my junior year at Brookhaven, Terry and Jason's senior year, I still feel to this day, and nothing against the team of Brookhaven that won the state championship, because once you win the championship, you cement yourself as that team.
Yeah.
But from a talent standpoint and from the opportunity that we had, I thought we clearly should have won the state that year.
Okay.
And I thought that was one of the best. I thought that was probably the best City League football team in the history of the City League football.
Let me share with you. I had DJ Jones, who was on the 04 team.
Yeah, he broke my school record on the last interception in the state championship. He was tied.
Yeah, had DJ on the show before. And one day, man, I'm just going down the rabbit hole, and I looked at y'all's roster. Mm-hmm. And like you said, I mean, y'all were loaded. And it wasn't just like, June goes to Kansas, right? So it wasn't like everybody just naturally chose Ohio State.
Right.
But you had a number of guys that played some D2 football. You had some guys that even played some lower level Division I teams, schools. So you guys had an amazing thing going on.
Yeah, we Lentwan Smith from Northwestern.
Yeah.
Sean Harris, Hawaii.
Yeah.
Boatload of other guys, Chuck Andrick, Carl Ratcliffe. Damon Kimbrough.
Yeah. And those guys are still around, man. Damon, Chuck are still around, man, leading kids. Steve is still around, leading young people, man, and being a part of it.
Steve Ayers.
Yeah, that's what, I was mentioning Steve. Yeah, Steve right now, ironically, he's the head coach of Beechcroft.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know what I mean? So like just that energy, and now he's sharing his wisdom with kids across town from a community where he grew up at.
Right.
You know what I mean? So during Ohio State, what's the piece for you? What's the warm memory that you remember back when you played, man? What's that do for you?
Beating Penn State for the first time, winning 2 Big Ten championships, obviously winning the Rose Bowl my senior year.
That was who'd y'all play that year?
Arizona State.
Arizona State, okay.
Ranked number 2, only top 5 team, undefeated.
Yeah.
We really thought that we would share the national championship that year. We ended up finishing like 17 points.
Yeah.
Because they voted back then.
Yeah, that was back when somebody just turned in the ballot.
Right. And we ended up finishing second that year.
Okay.
But being able to end your senior year career on a win and a major win like that, Columbus needed that at the time too. 100%. Coach Cooper needed that at the time.
Cooper needed that bad.
Bad.
Yeah.
So
because he came from Arizona State, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, he came from Arizona State. Okay.
So, that's one of the things that not the only thing though, because it was some victories. And the opportunity to get to play against Peyton Manning my junior year in the Citrus Bowl. Yeah. And he was like by far the best quarterback I ever played against.
Okay.
I had him picked off twice too.
Yeah.
I watched the game with my son and whatnot.
Okay.
But to be able to have those opportunities, at Ohio State and, realizing, it's not that I didn't know then, but I know now that, Ohio State is obviously one of the elite universities in terms of college football.
Yeah.
And I've tried to explain that to my son.
Right.
Like, look, this, be careful what you go here.
Yeah.
There's going to be guys that's going to be just as good as you, or you're going to have to compete, every day. And that's one of the things that anybody that tells you that went to Ohio State is that every day you competing against the best athletes in the country. The first team, the second team, the third team. Most of our second, third team guys were starting most other places.
Every other spot. Yeah.
And me and Eddie George used to have those talks because I was number 26, he was number 27.
Yeah.
So our lockers was right beside each other, games and practice.
Yeah.
So Eddie taping up before practice, like, look, man, don't start none, won't be none today, man. We couldn't tackle the running backs in practice.
Right. Okay.
And Eddie just loved to just run through and run downfield.
Right.
And we like, look, man, we can't tackle, but you just knew that every practice, the hardest thing about being at Ohio State was the practices.
Okay.
Because you was competing every day.
You was competing against guys better than some of the teams you were going to play.
The game was a treat.
Yeah.
The game was like, who's going to go out here and make the plays and get the shine. And the battles is practice.
Okay.
Where when you're going out there every single day, you're going against the best.
Fun times for you, I bet.
Fun times. What
do you think about the state of college football right now, NIL, all this stuff, man? What goes to your mind as a guy? You were living in it. You were at the pinnacle of one of the places. What do you see right now?
I think it's long overdue, aspect of, players getting compensated. I even said that years ago on one of the Facebook posts.
Okay.
And it was like the feedback, the blowback at first was kind of like, well, y'all have a scholarship, you have it, this and that. And I'm like, well, you earn that.
100%.
When you got the type of money that's being
brought in,
generated from this.
Yeah.
And, these guys are actually taking the risk in
Right.
the game of football.
Right.
They should see some of it. And I kind of like, and I actually, I've been looking for the post, but it's that, I so many posts that I couldn't find it because it was people saying that. I said, they're going to get paid. Watch, it's long. It's coming. And then it's here now, but it has to be regulated though. I mean, at this point, it's kind of like Wild Wild West without nobody regulating it.
Right.
And I just read yesterday that the antitrust look like it's going to go forward where each school is going to get like an allotment of like $20 million to divvy out, to their athletes.
Yeah.
And they deserve it. But it should be some type of oversight because them are some young kids with that kind of money.
Yeah, somebody needs to be there to help guide you with those types of decisions.
Right.
I mean, heck, I remember when I was in college, if you gave me $25, that whole $25 got spent at the pizza shop. And, you know what I mean?
BW3.
You know what I mean? I burned through that before I even made it to 11 o'clock that evening.
Exactly.
So we remember what it was like. I agree with you. I think it's long overdue. I remember being one of those poor guys in college trying to figure out, where we was going to get a food from, hoping that you could, get some things out the dining hall. But I also share, along with NIL, it's generating so much money. And I like the piece about the antitrust because I feel like the NCAA universities, like, y'all got to pony up something because not every kid on the team is the most popular guy that's going to get a commercial or get a radio slot or be able to sell something, with their name and image on it. So that guy that's maybe out there contributing also deserves a little bit of love as well. You know what I mean?
And he's just important for that team.
Just as important for that team.
Those type of, matter of fact, I go as far as saying that those guys are almost more important for that team because in order for that team to do what they do, they have to have those players in preparation every week, that serve whatever role that they serve in terms of preparing that team you see on Saturdays. It should be, some type of sacrifice. I like some of the guys, like some of the quarterbacks on the college level that divvy out things to the linemen and different teammates. CJ Stroud buying everybody a suit, for game day and stuff like that to where, you want to see more of that because when you're talking about a team sport, you can start to create a negative aspect from that when you got somebody that's up here and then somebody down here and they feel like they're putting in the same amount of work.
But they're not getting any of the love.
Exactly. Exactly. So you always want to maintain that balance like that because, that's a lot of money for these kids. When you start talking six-figure, some of these guys, seven-figure money, you got to remember these guys like 18, 19, 20 years old. In this day and age, it's a lot of things that can go wrong.
This guy's 28, 29, 30 years old that don't know what to do with the infall of money like that. You know what I mean? So you certainly can have challenges at 18 years old. I say that, hey man, like we're at this point where we got to start to wrap up. 30 minutes goes by fast,
real quick.
But I want to end here and allow you, man. It's like for me, I'm a guy. Always from afar, a lot of respect for you. I've watched your journey, man. Seen what you done, man. Always been a guy that says, I'm happy for you. Just on a pure level of humanistic life. I'm happy for you, man. And you've had your own challenges, right? What's the piece that you share right now? I want you to give some wisdom to a kid. For you, what do you wish you knew? 18, 17 years old at Brookhaven. And then also, if you will, give some wisdom to our parents, right? So you get to sit on both sides of it.
Right.
Tell these kids what they should be doing right now. We got kids that's listening. I'm a 15-year-old kid, and you were looking at an AT. What's a kid that says, man, I want to be where you were per se? And then what do you have for our parents out there?
Well, for the kids, appreciate the game. Love the game, you know what I'm saying? Respect the people that come before you, ask questions, take pieces of their game, traits from their game, put it with yours, look up to them, have idols. That's something that I did, in the game. I respected the game. It's been so many people that I had respect for that was ahead of me, that would tell me things, encourage me things, that would give me the confidence to go out there and do what I did over the course of my career. And a lot of times this younger generation challenges that because they feel like they got the answers to a lot of questions. And the game hasn't changed that much. Right. It's different aspects of the game, but the game hasn't changed.
Still 10 yards to get a first down, ain't it?
Exactly. Exactly. Still 10 yards. So really listen. listen to the people that's been there, before you, and then take bits and pieces of it, ask questions, because you can learn a lot from that.
Yeah.
As far as the parents, it's challenging, being a parent. I'm a parent. I have two sons coming up playing sports. I think you have to listen more. This is a different generation. It's smartphone, the digital era.
Yeah.
Kids get a lot of information that's misinformation that you have to kind of keep them in their lane of what's good for them and good to them.
Okay.
And really listen more. As a parent, that's something that I've really learned. My son just turned 18 a couple days ago.
Wow, okay.
And it's
Congrats.
like he's already had I'm 18 now. And it's like, well, look, I'm about to, I'll be 50 next year.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like, you got to listen more, though, as a parent, because a lot of things that you have in your mind when you was coming up is different than what these kids have now. So the way they approach things and the way they appreciate or the way they don't appreciate things, you have to really, remind them of that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, football has been real good for me, my family.
Yeah.
It's given me opportunities that I would have never had. It's given me the opportunity to meet people, establish relationships that I would never have.
See the country?
See the country, travel the country, playing sports on TV. And, I've liked to think that I've always played the game the way, not that I like to think, I know I did play the game the way it was supposed to be played.
Wow, okay.
Respected it.
Yeah.
And it gave me the opportunities that I had. And like I say, looking back on it, you can't take the championships away.
Right.
Championships last forever.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing that I'm most proud of. No individual accomplishments, just all the team goals and championships that I won over the years. What's by far what's most special to me.
Yeah. You've had an amazing run. You started off the show here today, man, where you said you followed a few episodes and was saying to yourself, you know what I mean, you would love to join the show.
Right.
I can tell you right now as the host, I'm more honored that you're sitting here than you are honored to be here. I appreciate you coming to join and tell us a part of your story, man. I really do. Deep down inside, man, it means a lot to me personally. I know our producers and everybody, it means a lot. But like I said, I can remember as a young guy watching what you all were doing, man, and thought that y'all had a special run, a special group, and still feel that way. Look back on it, y'all was doing some magical stuff. I'm honored to have you here on the show with us today.
It's a privilege and honor for me to be here. Like I said, man, the lounge is like,
Come on, we get
straight up first class, man. This is. I've done a lot of podcasts. I've been on, in the studios of the major TVs 4 and 10 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this is as classy as it gets.
Nice.
This is not the feel of a podcast.
Okay.
This is a feeling of like more. What I'm saying? Keep doing what y'all doing, man. I love the shows. I hope you keep doing this, man. It it shines a light on people, coming out of Columbus that normally you probably wouldn't get.
That's right.
And it's just special to have somebody out there that allows people to come in here, have the opportunity to share their stories and stuff like that, man. And I'm a big fan of it, man. You ever need me for anything?
Yes, indeed.
You got it.
I got you. Well, we appreciate it, man. I got to do an outro. Get us out of here, man. I read it every time. I've been reading it for the last couple of years. I don't even know. I said earlier we were taping. I think we're on maybe the third year, man. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Doing shows. We're 60, 70 episodes in.
Yeah.
We've had a special and fortunate run.
Yeah.
So you're one of our first guests here this year. To get us out of here, man. Much respect to you, everybody out there. Catch our future episodes on radio WCBE 90.5 FM. For you folks out there that listen to your podcast on Spotify or Apple, tune in and lock us in. Everybody on IG, we are at City League Sports 614. I'm your host, Dr. Vince Clarino. We're in the Legacy Lounge, Columbus City Sports. We got one of the baddest in the game with us here today, man, Mr. Anthony Gwinn. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. Legacy Lounge.
Yeah.
I like that.
We're out.